Eagles with a big win last night. And we need to talk about it. We got to break it down. So we're going to do that. We're going to watch a little Sixers basketball at 8 o'clock. We're going to have ourselves a special trending in the PM midweek edition. Guys, we're live in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. YouTube and Twitter, you know the drill. Wherever you're watching, please hit that like button. Please subscribe, and, of course, share this out on all your social media platforms, guys. Would greatly appreciate each and every one of those buttons on your screen being clicked. It's the easiest way to help this channel continue to grow. Easiest way to help and support me is hitting those buttons. Like, subscribe, share. It's free to do it. It's free to do it. And also, obviously, we got to spend a special shout out right from the get-go to all the veterans out there today. Happy Veterans Day. Thank you. I don't think people, I don't know if they like it or not, but I feel weird saying Happy Veterans Day to a veteran. I like to say thank you. We got to say thank you more frequently and not just one day a year, but thank you to all the vets out there giving us the opportunity to do stuff like this, which is bitch about the Eagles, talk about the Eagles, celebrate the Eagles. So it is on them. Good evening, Duck. How you doing this evening? What is up, Adam? Yeah, it's trending in the AM, in the PM. You know, it's trending after dark, you know, and I mean, it's after dark at like 5 o'clock nowadays, but, you know, it is what it is. And we got lots to talk about as we recap and dissect and break down last night's 10-7 Eagles victory over the Green Bay Packers, the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly. We're going to break it all down. What's up, Robert? How you doing on this special nighttime edition of Trending in the AM turns PM? It's been a busy week at the pizza shop. Lots of early mornings. So I got to skip a few shows this week. So I figured I'd give you guys the privilege speaking with me in the evening tonight. So we'll see how it goes. Breaking news just minutes ago. Yes, there was breaking news just minutes ago that recent Eagles acquisition cornerback Jair Alexander stepping away from the Eagles, stepping away from football to focus on getting healthy mentally and physically. Now, that is the second person this year to join the Eagles at a later point in the season, post-training camp, to honestly walk away from the Eagles. And it's a crazy, crazy situation. It's a crazy, crazy story that first Zadarius Smith and now Jair Alexander. Zadarius Smith came out of retirement or signed late and retired. Jair Alexander just gets traded to the team, says he's healthy as he's ever been, and 3 days later is walking away from the Eagles and football altogether. It's crazy. It's wild. I don't know what to make of the situation with Jair Alexander. I really have no clue. No clue. We need to get them better benefits and automatic citizenship if they serve more than 2 full contracts with distinction. We got breaking. It's crazy. It's crazy. It sucks. I mean, I told everybody it was a low-risk, high-reward trade. It was never going to – it was not made to be this crazy, you know, trade that was going to change the outcome of the season. Well, maybe it has something to do with Vic. As I told you in a message you sent me a few minutes ago, Adam, look, Vic Fangio's got a reputation. The players in Miami wanted him gone because of his rep. Now, most of the players on the Eagles love him. Jaelan Phillips wanted to come here to be with him. But maybe Vic Fangio just doesn't relate to the older veteran players like Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith. Maybe. I don't know. It's just a weird, wild, wacky thing now that we've had 2 players in the matter of 4 or 5 weeks basically retire from the NFL after coming to Philly. Maybe there's something off in the locker room. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe it's just nothing to it. Maybe it's just pretty simple that these guys just didn't have anything left in the tank, and they finally realized it when they got here and had higher expectations put on them. What does that do on the draft pick? Yeah, what is it about these players? First off, I don't know. I'm assuming it does nothing with the draft pick. I'm assuming we still lose that draft pick. It was a late draft pick. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't like a first, second, or third rounder. I'm not sure if there was any, contingents put in place on it, but I think we lose that. I want Alexander for his vet presence in the locker room. Well, they did that bringing back Brandon Graham as well. What's up, Chandler? Good evening. I have to get used to saying good evening. Jaelan Phillips is stud. Jaelan Phillips had a phenomenal game last night in his debut with the Eagles. So it's not all bad, when it comes to these trades. But there's something definitely wrong in the Jaelan Alexander situation. Most of the Eagles players are younger and are used to having coaches like Vic from college. I think it definitely could have some part to do with the older vets versus the young players, who agrees and who doesn't agree with the way he coaches. I'm shocked about Alexander, but okay. Look, I'm not shocked because I had no expectations for Jaelan Alexander. None. I didn't think Jaelan Alexander was going to be. I said it this past week that I thought that Jacorian Bennett, not Alexander, would start. Now, they didn't activate Jacorian Bennett. They got till, I think, tomorrow morning to activate him, or he's gone for the year. Adoree Jackson played fine last night. Jaelan Alexander was never the answer. He was a let's see if we can find lightning in a bottle with him. Why aren't you watching? Oh, I got it on the remote right here. I'm waiting for it to start at 8 o'clock. We're going to interact with the game as well. We're going to do a kind of miniature version of a Sixers watch party for about an hour here as we talk Eagles as well. Joel Embiid out with right knee soreness. Missed, time because of left knee surgery, but now right knee soreness. Big surprise. Phillips looks like he's been on this team for the whole year. He's phenomenal. Make sure you guys are voting on the poll question of the day as well. How do you feel about the Eagles after 10-7 win over the Packers? More confident, less confident? A win is a win. This team is going nowhere. Please vote while you're hitting that like and subscribe button. What's up, Little G? Good evening. It is Lions week now. Excited for Lions week. I don't think it's a Philly thing like some are already trying to play off. Alexander was already half out, it seemed, with Ravens. Yeah, look, the first thing that I want to say about Jaelan Alexander, Chandler, and everybody is that hopefully, at the very least, he gets his mental right. Obviously, we have the tragic situation with Marshawn Nealon this past week. These players are under a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. There's a lot going on in their lives. So we got to hope that any mental issues that he's dealing with, any doubt, any whatever, he gets them right. You can't be on the football field if mentally your mind is not ready to be on the football field. That's how bad injuries happen. That's how mistakes happen, but injuries. So he's got to get his mental right if he wants to play football. Then he can get physically right. It's just weird how he got here and said, I'm physically ready to go. Best I've ever felt. And then all of a sudden he retires. Oh, don't worry. I wouldn't miss the Sixers game. Don't you worry. So what's up with Embiid already? Now his right knee's bothering him. Who knows? Big surprise. Honestly, I texted my man Brian earlier. I'm excited. The less Embiid, the better. Eagles dominate last from start to finish last night. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people trying to make a big deal out of last night's game, and there are a couple little specific situations to dissect and break down. But big picture, ultimately, I feel better today about the Eagles than I did Monday morning when I woke up. The way the defense held one of the best offenses in football to 7 points. Fantastic. I didn't expect the offense to put up big numbers against a great Packers defense. Just think about it. I mean, the teams we have beaten this year, the Rams, the Buccaneers, the Chiefs, now the Packers, the Cowboys. I mean, we have beaten some tough teams. And we're still 7-2. And we're still I want to complain about that final play call, that fourth down bomb. few things I want to do, but it's not changing how I feel about this team. I don't remember the other guy that retired, pass rusher from Zadarius Smith. He was Detroit last year and retired after a few weeks and playing really well. I'm concerned the lack of discipline on the offensive line. Absolutely, I'm concerned about the offensive line as a whole. You know, they're just not the same this year. Injuries, being worn down, the discipline on them, it's a problem. Judd, it's a crazy thing, and good evening, Judd. Why have we had two players in a matter of a few weeks retire from football after playing with the Eagles? Kind of crazy. And it's shocking, too. If not for a fumble, it could have been 13-7 or 17-7. Ifs and ifs and buts, candies and nuts, whatever. It's hindsight. But they still got the win. And that's all that really matters. Patullo played coward ball after that fumble. Yeah, I mean, he got very conservative. The whole Eagles team was conservative. But it was cold. It was in Lambeau Field against an elite defense. Let's remember one key thing. The Packers are the fifth best defense in football going into that game. What did we expect? Everyone is so used to a big offensive games every week. Then there's a defensive game. Exactly. I have no problem with a crazy defensive game. I actually enjoy it. Stephen A. Smith doesn't have Eagles in top 5. I saw somebody else have them at 9. But Seattle played no one good, and Colts also played no one at 3. Yeah, look, the disrespect will continue. That is what it is. I feel good about my Eagles tonight on Tuesday night, 11/11/2025 on Veterans Day. I feel good about our team. Do we have issues? Are we perfect? Are we as perfect as last year? Absolutely not. No doubt about it. But big picture, this team is set for a deep run. Even if we lose against Detroit this upcoming week, we're set. Makes me wonder. Judd, I'm wondering the same thing. Completely curious. Adam messaged me before the show saying maybe he doesn't like A.J. Brown. Like, that's a WIP take. But it makes you wonder. Maybe he didn't like cheesesteaks. Maybe he didn't like the fact that we weren't going to play him second one after coming here. Or maybe mentally he's just not right and confident physically. I feel like Eagles really controlled the game from start to finish. It got tight, sure. Yeah, I kind of feel like it wasn't as close as the score made it out to be. I kind of feel like looking back on the game that we were fully in control the whole game. Yeah, we didn't put up big points. Yeah, we had the bad Jalen Hurts fumble, which he's got to be criticized for it. It was a great play by the defender. But I kind of feel like we were never losing that game. I think that last play last night was called by Hurts or Brown because here, look, I hear the rumors floating around that Hurts and A.J. Brown went rogue. Well, if they hate each other so much, how are they going rogue together? I don't know about that situation. Look, the more and more that goes on, the more and more I realize that A.J. Brown probably will not be on this roster next season. But right now he is, and they got to find a way to control that ego, control that personality, and make it work for the time being. If we beat the Lions, what will they say? Something will go wrong. I think we have strongest strength of schedule. We have played so many different teams, or difficult teams, and we've beaten them all. Defense games is like a pitching duel in baseball. And we love a pitching duel in baseball, right? When Zach Wheeler goes up against Chris Sale and it's a 1-0 game, we don't complain. We're like, look at how awesome that is. But for some reason right now, we hate it. Eagles will beat the Lions. I hope so. It's going to be a tough matchup. Going 8-2 with this schedule is almost unfathomable to think about. Who cares what commentators say? We are top of the NFC. The numbers say different than what the – yeah, exactly. Well, what we care, why do we care? Well, why do you care about what I have to say? Well, you don't. You just want to hear what I think of what you say. But, I mean, I always say, everyone's like, oh, nobody likes us and we don't care. I always say the opposite. Nobody likes us, and I do care because I want respect on my teams. I want respect on my city. I don't want to hear about snowballs at Santa. I want to hear respect. AJ sent him over the edge after he He's my son comment. That's the headline. There's always something, right? Other than we playing soft on that one series. Yeah, we did play a little soft late. We gave up the edges, gave up some first downs, and they moved down the ball. It happens. But again, did we play soft? We did play a little soft. But also, again, I think the Packers were the 5th-ranked defense and the 8th-ranked offense going into the game. So the 8th-ranked offense finally moved the ball effectively. The NFL has conditioned us. They don't want there to be low scoring. They want it to be a passing league. Offense sells. It's like the old school mid-90s commercial with Greg Maddux and Tommy Glavine. Chicks dig the long ball, not us pitchers. There's a whole series of commercials about that. And that's the way it is with football. As Adam Silver says, the NBA is a highlight-driven league. Yeah, I know. But I still want to see certain things go on, and I'm okay with the way the Eagles played. As Jason will be on at least for a portion of Sunday, if not the entirety of Sunday, which will give us a different aspect to watch the game with an actual fan of the Lions on the stream with us. I think Laurie, once he got that first Lombardi, just said, F it, win over stats. Yeah, I remember him calling, Doug Peterson in the office. Why did you run the ball so much against the Packers despite winning the game? Well, it was windy and there was conditions and things like that. And he got yelled at for it, Doug Peterson. But now I think Nick Sirianni does truly understand wins are all that matters, which is the truth. A win is a win. That is all that matters. The thing that pissed me off the most was 2-2 pass, 3-2 pass, just run the rest. Yeah, look, passing in that situation late in the game, stopping the clock was obviously a major misstep for the Eagles. Sorry, Sixers are about to start. Major misstep. And could have cost us the game. And obviously I would love to hear an explanation from Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo on the decision there. And my guess is they'll say, well, we have this talented offense. We put the ball in their hands to make the play. If he completes one of those plays, if we execute better, then the game's over, right? But on the flip side, you got to be smarter. Stop running Will Shipley on 3rd and long. So I got a stat for that, Judd. The Eagles have run, not just Will Shipley, run the football on 3rd and long, 7 yards or more, 15 times this year. That's the most in the NFL. As Marshawn would say, the coward's draw, right? Or K1, whoever says that, right? Well, there's only 3 other teams that have done it 10 or more times in the NFL this year. And they're all playoff/Super Bowl contenders. The Seahawks, the Colts, and the Chiefs, and the Eagles are the only 4 teams. The Eagles lead the way with 15. The other 3 have 10 or more. So what's that tell you? The good teams, the real true contenders, understand when it's time to go for the home run and when it's time to play conservative. And sometimes you got to be conservative in big moments because you don't want turnovers. You don't want mistakes happening in those moments. So I think the 3rd and long coward's draw is an overrated comment because when you're at 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, yeah, you got A.J. Brown, you got Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, but the percentage of those plays working out is low. They're low percentage plays. A.J. and Hurts were team building on that last play. Is that what it was? Was that a trust fall? Well, let me tell you something. The trust did not work out. They played coward ball throughout the game until that point. That's Hurts going rogue, and you know what his right as a quarterback to change the play at the line. Look, if Jalen Hurts changed the play at the line, I get it. Jalen Hurts has got to be better in tune with the situation not to do it there. But I get it. Protect the ball is what matters. The teams that turn over the ball the least over the season are normally the teams that win the most games. I'm not as mad at the coward's draw as long as it's a draw and it's Barkley with the ball. Will Shipley had a good game last night. He played more than Tank Bigsby last night. Had a nice catch on that crossing route along the sideline for a first down. I got no problem with Will Shipley getting the ball occasionally. I still don't think Saquon Barkley's 100%. He's still exhausted from last year. He's still banged up this year. He's getting knocked around nonstop because the offensive line can't block. Hell, how many times last night did we see guys get blocked back into him and knock him over? Jordan Mailata knocked him over. So you gotta be conservative with Saquon Barkley. A lot of times, 3rd and long, people force turnovers. Exactly. You get blitz pressure. You get a lot of things go wrong on 3rd and long. So it's okay to be conservative at times. But sometimes you do got to take a shot in that situation. You just got to pick the right spot. That outside zone BS with Shipley was so stupid. I couldn't believe it when I saw it a second time. Look, not saying the game was perfect. It wasn't called perfect. It wasn't executed perfect. There was a lot of things that went wrong last night. But not enough for anybody to worry. Not enough for the talking heads to crush us or anything like that. AJ should have come back for that ball at the end. Yeah, he kind of just like lollygagged it. Look, I'll give him credit on the block on the Saquon big run because that's very unlike AJ. I love the Cowboys fans today. We dropped 40 on the Packers, and didn't we? Yeah, Packers fans are burying their heads in the sand, bragging how they put up 40 points on the Packers, and we couldn't. Cool. I'll take my 7-2 record versus their 3-5-1 record any day. Lane Johnson coming back last night was a warrior. Absolutely shocked that he did. Shocked the Eagles let him do that. But notice things got better on the offense once he got back out there. Remember when Hurts threw that one pick and people crushed him? Damn if you do, damn if you don't. Absolutely. The dude's got 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception. That's it. Through 9 games of the season. He's got over 20. He's got 20 touchdowns. No, 21 because he had a touchdown pass last night. 21 touchdowns combined to 3 combined turnovers. Any other quarterback has that with a 7-2 record? They're being said their MVP caliber season. They should have got Goddard more involved than they did. Yeah, they rely too much on that little play action, short Goddard out for sure. Lately. Yeah, they're all talking about the tush push today and how there was a false start. Nobody's talking about the Packers' false start on their quarterback draw tush push. Look, it's always going to be Philly versus the world. Philly versus the NFL. It's always going to be like that. But it doesn't have to be. People can make a choice not to have those kind of conversations. Not to do it that way. And I wish they did. But they don't. Packers used it more than we did, and they wanted to ban the play. I don't think they ran a traditional tush push, really, so I can't say that. Not at least regularly. They ran a lot of more traditional quarterback draws and stuff like, or pushes or runs or whatever. I'm not really worried about it. 100% he will never get MVP. Love because his GM is too good. Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that still, even after last night, would put Jordan Love ahead of Jalen Hurts in any conversation is insanity, in my opinion. I just want the tush push ban so they can look for the next play to ban. The Dallas Goedert little short pass in the flat there. That will be the next play ban. Guarantee it. 4-game lead. We're the best in the world. Division, we're defending champs. 4-game division lead. First in our conference. What else do people want? What else do people need? People need to learn that, clicks aren't the most important thing in the world. Because that's what it is. People worry, the media worries for their clicks, not me. Hence why I'm sitting at 836 subscribers and not 83,600 subscribers. They worry about clicks and saying and doing whatever's necessary for clicks. So Jalen Hurts will never get the credit he deserves. Can't motion players anymore. Jalen Hurts got to play with one hand tied behind his back from now on. You can't have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the field at the same time, which we might not next year. No, the Eagles can't motion players, period, anymore. Okay, I get it. People talk Eagles so much because it brings the views. Exactly. And I've tried very hard to not quote tweet out those people. I'm not trying to share the content and nonsense creators. I'll screenshot some of their stuff. But I don't want to give any unnecessary credit or clicks to any of the people with nonsense out there. It's just not necessary anymore. They will let every other team play it without comment. But look how many times. I mean, the numbers the other day I saw. Josh Allen has run the tush push or scored more touchdowns on the tush push than Jalen Hurts this year. So what's that say? It's all the Eagles' fault. Look, the officials were weird last night. They missed a couple obvious calls on both sides of the ball. They let them play very physical. And then they made some ticky-tack calls on both sides of the field. I don't know if there was really much consistency last night from the officiating. It's not why we lost. It's not why we won. But there was definitely not a strong officiated game last night by the refs. Jalen Hurts isn't flashy on the field, so he won't get no credit. When any other quarterback is putting up big numbers, they praise him. Absolutely. There was no consistency. The officiating was pretty bad last night. And Robert, you're spot on. Both teams played great defensive game. Both teams played great team defense. Both teams were swarming the ball. Both teams were getting pressure. I know they didn't sack Jalen Hurts once, but they flushed him out of the pocket quite a few times last night. It was a great defensive game last night. No one was mad when Gibbs got pushed in for his second touchdown from the 5 when pushing players is banned. We will all, yeah. I don't get it. I don't. Those zebras should be red for that shameful officiating. Yeah, look. I mean, how about the Micah Parsons trip? Was that on Saquon Barkley? I mean, that wasn't called, but blatantly missed. They still stand by the fact that commish told refs don't flag it so he can use it to ban. It's no different than any other snap. Look, I get it. That very well could be the case. The integrity of sports is in question right now, Chandler. Obviously, with lots of gambling scandals. Obviously, we haven't had a chance to talk about the Indians pitchers yet, or the Guardians pitchers yet on this channel. I would not be shocked if there was a statement made. Just let it get screwed up as much as possible so that then we can use that as a reason to ban it. Could you imagine if the Super Bowl was a low-scoring game, people would go insane? There was one recently, a few years back, right? I think it was Peyton Manning. Which game was that? Wasn't there like a 10-3 or 17-10 Super Bowl in the last few years? Look, Parsons is doing, it's not the first time. He did that after the Panthers game. He's like, well, we held him to 16 points. What more do we have to do? If Jalen Hurts or someone on the Eagles called out half the team, it would be a national story. But Micah Parsons does it 2 weeks in a row or whatever, and it's a problem. It's not a problem. Jamar Chase did it a few weeks ago. Called out the Bengals. Hey, all you needed to do was make one stop. And he got away with it. But God forbid one of the Eagles did that. Bengals and Rams was 10-6, I think. There was a Super Bowl a few years back that was a really low-scoring game. And it was one of the lowest viewed Super Bowls of all time. So, yeah, it does happen. Sixers game is underway at the Xfinity Arena or whatever the hell it's called these days. Sixers Celtics. Like I said, no Joel Embiid tonight. We're going to talk a lot of Eagles tonight. But, you know, obviously we got to deal with the fact that Joel Embiid has injured his other knee now. So that's obviously something that's come across the table to discuss as well. Not shocked at all. Why would I be? That's the game I'm thinking about. Pats Rams 13-3 in 19. That for sure rings a bell. That was Jared Goff's Super Bowl appearance, right? No one blamed. Does Tom Brady lose credit for one of his Super Bowls for winning the Super Bowl with only 13 points? No, he's arguably the greatest player in football history. Flyers play. Look, I decided to rock a Flyer shirt on the air tonight. Do I get bonus points for that? Guys, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe, share button, vote in the poll. Not many people tuning in this evening. Well, not going to stop us or anything. We're going to go for a while here. But there's only 5 likes on the video. So make sure you guys are hitting those buttons. When I watch that Eagles game, or when I think about what I watched from that Eagles game, it makes me think about when it gets gritty, when it gets tough, when we get to the playoffs and face a great team in the playoffs. Seattle said, we can win ugly. That we've got the players focused on the ultimate goal, not individual. Like, there's something about winning a game like we did last night, 10-7, on the road, Lambeau Field, freezing cold temperatures, and we won. Low-scoring battle. There's something about winning a game like that that sets a tone and sets the confidence meter of the team as a whole. The offense knows the defense has got their back now, that they don't have to push it. They don't have to do anything, okay? They don't have to force anything. You know, like when a pitcher has to force or feels like he's forcing things because he knows the offense can't score more than one run. The offense knows the defense has got them now. The defense has seen it other times. If we have an off game, the Eagles offense can open it up. Tom Brady, 262, no touchdowns. Well, yeah, exactly. No one hated him for that. Dan Campbell said, blank. We play a match game here. Defense killed it. Started the season iffy, but get it together. Which is what we've always said. Day one of this season, when I was asked, I think it was by Adam, what will I think the Eagles defense will be ranked? I said it was going to start off really bad. By the middle of the season, it'll be getting close to the top 10. By the end of the season, it'll be top 5. I don't think we're top 10 yet. But yesterday definitely was this great, move into the right direction for this defense. Dan Campbell said when he played in Philly, he got batteries thrown at him. It's a hostile environment to play in. Screw Dan Campbell. The crap we get thrown our way. I think Dan Campbell also said, and I think he followed that up with, I love it. But the crap we get thrown our way for 2 single individual moments, one with J.D. Drew and one with one drunk fan in 1966, drives me nuts. What's up, Rob? How you doing? I found out that the Eagles can still sign Samuel Jr. from the Steelers practice squad. The only stipulation is if they sign him. Yeah, Asante Samuel Jr. went to Steelers. Look, we don't need him right now. I get it. Fans wanted him. Adoree Jackson played a damn good game, all things considered, last night. Keely Ringo is still here. Mac McWilliams. Jacorian Bennett may get activated tomorrow. I'm not too concerned at this point of the season. I would have liked to have seen Samuel brought here for our practice squad. I get it. It happens. But, yeah, I don't think it's anything that we're going to miss out on. Let me see one other quarterback have 6 OCs in 6 years and keep winning. Exactly. And now everybody wants to fire Patullo and bring in Brian Dable. I think that they were going to activate Bennett before this past game yet last night. I think they didn't because of a roster's numbers crunch. And maybe they knew Jacorian Bennett was on the roster and he was inactive for the game. And maybe they knew that Jacorian Bennett was considering stepping away. Now they have to do it tomorrow. I don't know what time, but it's early in the day tomorrow. They have to activate him. Or he's out for the year, right? So now they could put Jacorian or Jair Alexander on the inactive list or the exempt list or whatever, open up that roster spot, and that's where Jacorian Bennett comes into play. I truly believe that's how it's going to go. But I don't think you bench Adoree Jackson for him. I don't. I think Adoree Jackson, all things considered, has played very good football this year. How Samuel's even free, I thought he was good. He has been hurt. He had a neck fusion surgery in the offseason. And he wasn't even cleared to medically, be on a roster till like last week. That's a big risk. So put him on the practice squad. It is what it is. It's a low risk reward. Special teams was solid last night. It was, actually. So Alexander on the exempt list. Jacorian Bennett activated tomorrow. That's my prediction. Maybe I mixed that up. My apologies. Well, it's either going to be Bennett or they're going to add someone else. Yeah, if they don't activate him tomorrow, then they're going to have to cut him. Well, not cut him, IR him for the year. I expect him. He's been practicing in full for 2 weeks now, so I'm shocked he hasn't been. But it was a numbers crunch. But yeah, if they did, they would have to find someone else to bring in. Guys, make sure you're hitting that like button, that subscribe button, that share button. Vote on our poll question, please. And Alexander would have to go into exemption list. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Alexander will go exempt, some kind of list to open up that roster spot while he works out what he wants to do. And then they figure the rest out. I'll be curious to see what they say about Lane Johnson, his health this week. We relatively got out of it unscathed. But yeah. How did Alexander pass the physical? I think it's a fantastic question. Because it leads to what the intro of the show was, Rob, was why? The guy came here and said he felt the greatest he's ever felt. But I think it's a mental thing, too. Because in the statement, he is taking a step away to get right physically, but also mentally. Maybe mentally, there's something to it mentally. He could just be messed up from all the injuries. But maybe he doesn't mentally feel confident in the knee, in the injury. And if you're not confident that you're healthy, if you're doubting yourself, even a little bit, that's when injuries start to happen, okay? I think we could get the pick back, but not worried if we don't. I don't know. If he passed our physical, I don't know if we can get that pick back. I'm not sure. Not sure. It could be depression. Look, it's not nothing to be taken lightly, Rob, right? I mean, we obviously see this past week with Marshawn Kneeland. Now, there's still a lot to unfold from that story. But obviously he was dealing with something mentally that was bothering him. Felt like there was no way out. We got to learn that these athletes have just as much on their minds and problems as we do, if not more. Because we know that if they don't live up to the expectations that are set by their contracts, by teams, by the fans, they're going to get attacked on social media. They're going to get called out. There is a serious issue, more now than ever before because of social media, with the mental state of our athletes. And it concerns me. It worries me. When I see people attacking players, all sports, online, it drives me nuts. Is Cam Jurgens playing this week? I don't know. If he doesn't, I will question why they didn't put him on IR. Everyone's like, I ran a question last week. Should Willie Lampkin or Brett Toth start at center? Kind of a joke, right? And everyone's like, you got to play Brett Toth because he played so great against the Giants. And I'm like, it was one good game. Brett Toth wasn't good last night. No doubt. Yeah, look, the mental strength. I've said this on this channel, Rob, before, and I don't know if you're new to the channel. YouTube changed what I see, so it might have used to say something else on the screen. It just says iRob5657 now, so not sure if you're new to the channel or not. But I've talked about this for 2-3 years. That I think all the major leagues, all sports leagues, should institute a rule, a law, that every athlete has to see a sports psychiatrist from the team or independently on their own. It should be a lock. Part of their guarantees that they have to see these people to make sure that they have someone to talk to. Make sure. We have these independent concussion specialists. Well, we need to have independent psychiatrists on staff as well. Oh, it's Rolla. Sorry, YouTube changed what pops up on our screens with an update, so I'm still learning what some of these new screen names are for some people. My apologies, Rolla. I didn't know he was from Philly, so it was, I didn't know he was either. If you're not mentally well, Philly isn't for you, really. It's not even that, though, Chandler. It's more about if you're not mentally well, you can injure yourself and other people. And that's not good. Have you checked your diabetes yet? Your blood sugar yet? I just had a physical today. I got to go later in the week for my blood work, but just had a physical today, so you'd be proud of me, Wilford Brimley. Went and got my yearly checkup. Doubts. Yeah, it's all good. YouTube messed with everything. Some of them I was able to tell by the profile pictures. Some of them went to people's full names. Some of them, like you, I just don't know who it is. Dobbs had that thick helmet on last night. Dude, it did look silly. It did look funny, that helmet he had on. But you know what? Why isn't everybody wearing them, right? We live in an advanced day, an advanced age, where we know how to protect our athletes and our people better. Yet we don't. We still live in a society where it's man up, tough it out. We got people like Lane Johnson. We applaud Lane Johnson for his warrior mentality. We don't think about the mental strain that warrior personality puts on the body and the person. 100%, but I know our fans can be a little extra. No more than any other city. Other cities are worse than we are, but we just get talked about more. Did you even think maybe playing in Philly might be more pressure than he could take? People he didn't see in decades coming to him. Absolutely could have been something. Absolutely. It's not always a good idea to play for your hometown. You know, I heard Mike Trout want to play in Philly. I think either A, he didn't want to play here as a backup, and he was being told he was going to be a backup, or I think, and this is my opinion. I'm no expert. I don't have a source on this. Or he just wasn't confident in being healthy enough. Is that helmet add more weight? I think it adds a touch, but very negligible, because I remember bringing this up before, and I had somebody on the show when I brought it up, and they said it's very minimal. Like nothing that would change anything of what you're doing. You don't got to add 5 pounds of neck muscle to carry that extra padding on your helmet at all. I just hope he gets better. I hope he does too. I do. Hopefully he gets the help he needs. Again, like I said, maybe he needs to see somebody. Maybe he needs to speak to somebody. He just woke up from a nap and thought I slept through the night. Have you ever done that? Because I have done that before, Big Al. Fallen asleep at 5:30 in the afternoon and woken up and it's 5 in the morning. I have done that plenty of times. It's been a busy week at the pizza shop with catering. Haven't done a show Monday, Tuesday, and I can't do a show tomorrow. So I figured I'd give you guys my presence this evening while we're watching the Sixers here. 7 minutes gone by, and we're up 16-14. Kelly Oubre driving the basket, puts up a nice, easy bucket. Got fouled, didn't get called. Kelly Oubre's been a shining star. I'm shocked how good Kelly Oubre's been this year so far. I used to eat cake icing by the bowl. I still do. Just not as frequently. Look, it's crazy, the Jair Alexander situation. But I also wonder how much of it has to do with Vic Fangio as well. Because obviously, there was a lot of people that didn't like playing with Vic Fangio in Miami. Hang on, I got to respond to this message here. Took 2 melatonin pills one time and drank 2 Noro sleep drinks. I woke up like 2 days later, best sleep of my life. Didn't think it really worked. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I've never slept that long of a stretch in my life. Not at all. I could probably use it. Maybe next weekend. Maybe. Maybe someday in the future, I'll get myself 2 good days of sleep in a row. It'd be fantastic. But yeah, look, maybe it has something to do with Vic Fangio, what he was asking of him. Or maybe, as Adam said, there's something more going on in the locker room. Maybe something going on in the locker room that these guys just want to be a part of. Missed 2 days off work. Not good. That's never good. I stayed awake for 3 days one time and thought I saw men in the bushes. I see. Only time I slept for 3 days, I was sick and depressed. I guess when I was in the hospital with my broken leg a couple decades ago, I laid in a bed for like 6 days. I probably slept a lot then. But no, I don't think I ever did that other than that. I don't think so. Not sure. Anyway, sorry. Sixers just lost their lead. They're now down 19-18. But Maxey drains a 3. Back up 21-19. Tyrese Maxey's just so good. What is the deal with minimal throws to AJ? Well, again, as I've said, we didn't lose or beat the Carolina Panthers 10-7. We didn't beat the New Orleans Saints 10-7. We ended up against the 5th best defense in football. There were multiple, at least 3 plays I saw last night where A.J. Brown was going to run a slant. Well, he did run a slant, and they dropped a second. They double-teamed that slant route to A.J. Brown that we know he loves, we know is successful, and Jalen loves to throw to him multiple times. I remember one play specifically, Jalen step, looked, and you instantly see 20-something drop right into coverage there. So there were attempts earlier in the game to get A.J. the ball. Green Bay just played phenomenal defense. Let's give credit to the Packers defense. Sixers have done nothing recently for me to get back on that wagon. I'm not on the wagon. I'm not off the wagon with the Sixers. The Sixers are a good basketball team. They're growing. They're learning how to play. I have no issues with the Sixers. I'm not in. I'm not out. I'm just whatever. I told you. What are we at? Are we still at 630, 836? We started the show tonight with 836 subscribers. So if that's where we end the show at, you got to get me to 936. 100 subscribers for $100 worth of free food. That's the deal. Yeah, we're still at 836. We do have 13 likes on the video now. Good job. Keep hitting those buttons, guys. I promised Adam, Chandler, I gave you a challenge. So I'm giving Adam a challenge. 100 subscribers tomorrow while he's at the Camp Out for Hunger. And if anybody else is going to the Camp Out for Hunger tomorrow, say hi to Adam. 100 new subscribers from him tomorrow, and he'll get $100 worth of free food. Just not open when you're an elite wide receiver, people double and triple you. Exactly. They ran plays directly for A.J. Brown. He just got double covered all the time. I think it has to do with teams focusing on A.J. to keep him from killing them. And maybe they try to do that, not just so he doesn't beat them, but because when he gets frustrated, he stirs up drama, right? So maybe there's a double-edged sword. Doubling him stops one of our biggest weapons. Doubling him frustrates him. Doubling him causes drama. Causes them to do other things. I got to respond to these. Hold on, I got to respond. Work stuff, guys. Sorry. Sorry. AJ is helping the team a ton just running. Look at JJ, 4 catches, 36 yards. Yeah, look, no one's complaining about Justin Jefferson. No one's complaining about Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is getting targeted 20 times a game. It's not like they're winning anymore. Look, I have no issues with A.J. Brown. I think A.J. Brown could be gone in the offseason. I don't want him to be gone. I just think this year's offense is running a different way right now. I think that last year's caught up to them. It is what it is. They basically bracketed AJ for about 65% of the game. Yeah. I mean, we pointed it out in the broadcast last night, Nooms, multiple times. You can see it clear as day that the first look was AJ's way. And there was a second guy in that area every time. Not everyone could be Puka and get 13 catches, 150 yards. I mean, AJ Brown is capable of those kind of stats. It's just not necessary on this team. It's not. This is the kind of team you got to pick your poison. I'd rather win the game with 2 catches from A.J. Brown than lose the game with 20 catches from A.J. Brown. No one, I don't know. I think the media wants to make you believe people want him gone because by talking about it, it drives a negative narrative, which is what we like to see, or what they like to see. Look, I think there's some truth to the argument that A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts aren't on the same page. Not because they hate each other, but because they're just different now. They're not best friends. They're not 20 years old anymore. They're grown-ass men with different agendas. We're trying to figure out the news, Marshawn. We're trying to figure out the why. The second person to step away from the Eagles now this year. And I think it's a very interesting, curious story. One that we won't get real answers to right now. But down the line we will, and I'm very curious how it's going to unfold. All stats do is get you Hall of Fame. Maybe that's what his goal is. Look, I really, truly think there is truth to the narrative that A.J. Brown wants to win, yes, but A.J. Brown wants to be known as the best of all time. And he can't do that getting 2 catches a game. Plain and simple. VJ has been playing like a pecker lately. I just think he's hitting a rookie wall 10 games into the season because he was being played 95 minutes a game. I'm not losing any faith in him, though. A few years ago, it was necessary for AJ to get all those targets because he didn't have old team. This is a complete team. The pass rush last night was amazing from the Eagles. Jaelan Phillips, mainly. Nolan Smith, in a limited snaps, had a great game last night. Jelix Hunt, his last 2 games, phenomenal. I love to point out Jalen Carter. I love when defensive linemen, especially tackles, don't get to the quarterback, and they know that, so they do this. They put their hands up. 2 batted balls at the line of scrimmage from Jalen Carter, at least, that I remember last night. How he had no information on It's massively confusing, Marshawn. He passed his physical. He said he felt the healthiest he's ever felt, that he gets made inactive for the game, and now he's retiring. Something doesn't seem right there, right? It could be mental, lack of confidence in the knee. It could be mental, not confident in the team. It could be he's not healthy. Maybe he doesn't like. Maybe Vic Fangio said, I don't want him playing this week. He's not ready. Jerry Ayer's like, I am ready. Vic's like, no, you're not. We know how hard Vic is on cornerbacks. Meanwhile, CJ had 3 Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had a phenomenal game for the Bears. He did. So tired of nurses bitching. Yeah, I've never been a nurse guy. Still am not. Zadarius Smith also said he did. And it's weird. And it leads, I was getting messages from Adam before the show about this thing. And he's like, well, maybe there's something going on in the locker room. I'm shocked Big Dom didn't have any insider info from his security side investigation. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Okay? I really don't. I don't. It's tough. It's frustrating. It sucks. It's weird. But it's also, I guess, part of it all. Not everyone's going to fit in to this team over individual, atmosphere, so to speak, that we have working here in Philadelphia. You have to be able to put your egos aside here in Philadelphia. You have to be able to say, I have no ego. that we're only here to win football games. Smith has lots of pass rush left in him, not coverage and other responsibilities. So what was maybe Jair was being asked in practice this week to do things he physically can't do. Maybe. The worst part of this whole city wanted to see Alexander play here. I told everybody to pump their brakes on the excitement on Jair. I said it was a low risk, high reward, but I said it all week that I thought Ja'Cory Bennett, not Adoree Jackson, was going to start in place of him. I said he was not going to start for a while. But everyone wanted to hype him up because everyone just assumed he was going to resort back to 2020, 2022 All-Pro Alexander. He's absolutely better than him so far, 100%. I root for the team, don't like every player. Exactly. You don't have to like every player. All you care about is that Eagles logo, right? And saying, go Birds. We knew he wasn't starting, but wanted to see him play. No, there were people that were saying, I got told on social media a bunch of times that he was 100% better than every other cornerback not named Cooper Dejean and Quinyon Mitchell on our roster. I got told I was crazy for thinking other players would start over him. From short videos on YouTube to tweets I made on Twitter. I was told multiple times. Edgecombe is playing way more than he should. Absolutely. Absolutely, and you're seeing it. From what I hear, that janitor is a bit of a pain in the ass. The janitor cares more about his Board of Health scores, right? Than the team's Super Bowl success. He's more of an individual, not a team player, right? Look. How do I say this? You've got to be a special personality, not just to want to play here, but want to fit in here. Okay? Jerry Alexander didn't have a choice. He was getting traded here. As a free agent, it's one thing. You don't sign here as a free agent unless you understand what you're walking into with the Eagles. Eagles culture, Eagles, team way of doing things. But when you get traded here, you don't have a choice, right? He got here, said all the right things, then realized after 3 or 4 days, it's very possible. He's all about the cleanup stats, not the team. Exactly. He's just making sure he doesn't get too many docs on his Board of Health inspection. You have to be a blue collar person to make it here. You have to understand at least what blue collar stuff is all about. You do. And that's all. That's all that matters, right? Jalen Hurts was psyched about the win last night. He didn't care that he only had 183 yards. He didn't care that we only put up 10 offensive points. All he cared about was the W last night. That's what's most important. Wins are all that matters. When do we get away from winning is all that matters? We got away from it because of fantasy football. We got away from it because of gambling. We got away from it. And we started propping up guys that can't win when it matters most. And making them the GOATs, not the people that win. Jalen Hurts is a winner. The Eagles are a winning team. They will find a way. And there was a shot by VJ Edgecombe short. The guy just doesn't have legs under him anymore. It's a great block from Quinyon Grimes there. Quinyon Grimes changed agents today. So that could be a good way to get him to stay in Philly for a little while longer. It's crazy. It really is. Getting a text message from Steven. Steven, if you're watching, enjoy the game. Steven's at the Sixers game tonight. Mr. Fuentes. The main thing I want to say is thank you again to Steven, to Kyle, to Mista, to everybody that served our great country. We don't say it enough. We wait till one time a year to say it. Hurts would love the nice padded stats, but the W is the thing. I still love him telling that linebacker, but we have the win. Yeah. What game was that? That was the the Chiefs game. That was Chris Jones, not linebacker, defensive tackle. It's like, you don't fucking have 99 yards. He's like, we got the win. And I love to see it. I love that attitude. What's up, Mr. Bruce Harper? Good evening. Greetings and salutations. We're here with a random night episode. McCain out there without Maxey. Yeah, they're running Grimes, Edgecombe, and McCain. McCain still don't look like he's right. Doesn't look like he's ready to go just yet. Got a lot of rust. He talked about the other day, Noobs. I don't know if you saw it. Talked about how he's really struggling to adjust to play with the knee brace on. And he's still got about a month of wearing the knee brace. Oh, man, Bona just got stood up. And it was 100 yards, so wrong about exactly. Fantasy football makes you root for other players that you don't even like. Exactly. I mean, the boom in fantasy-based football years ago, along with gambling and everything else, DFS, has made us lose sight of what matters when evaluating customers. I'm thinking about work stuff, sorry. Evaluating players and athletes. I feel that was a good game, even if we didn't score. Absolutely. That's all that matters. Winning is what matters. Are the Sixers losing? They are actually. It's 24-20. There's a free throw coming up. It depends. It depends if this next free throw is made or not. All right. Although it might be a coward's free throw. It was coward's free throw. It was missed short. So they're losing 24-23 in the second quarter right now. Bill, I feel it proves we can win. See, were you listening earlier? Because this is what I said earlier. It's like you're reading my mind, Bruce. I learned more about them winning that gutsy, close game than winning a game 37-31. It just shows so much about them. You think fantasy and sports betting messed up all sports? I do. It messed up the integrity of sports, but it also messed up how we evaluate sports and players and stuff. This is a lot more trust in McCain. I get what you're saying. No Maxey. Okay. I'm just saying I still don't trust him because he doesn't trust himself yet. He's got a lot of rust to knock off. I mean, he only played 2 months of NBA basketball last year before he got hurt. I remember it took most of a soccer season to get used to play with the neoprene knee brace, and that's way easier than the ones. Yeah. He definitely talked about it. He doesn't like it. Both these teams suck tonight. Yeah, they do. McCain is playing. He's played now 2 of the last 3 games. Not much. He's not very effective yet. He talked about the other day struggling to adjust to wearing a knee brace for the first time on a basketball court. And he's got an evaluation in a month to see if he's allowed to take the knee brace off. So we'll see. I feel it is because I learned from you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Madden also. Yeah, Madden's like football games have always been around, but Madden's become big time over the last 10, 12 years. And yeah, it has been. He still has not scored in any of his games yet this year. That is an accurate statement. That is true. That is very true. It is what it is, right? I feel if we could trade Embiid, we should try because he seems like you can't just trade him. And the fact that now he's got a different knee injury now that he's dealing with makes things even more difficult. I would love to say let's trade Joel Embiid and free up that money and go young and healthier and more athletic. But it's just almost impossible to trade that contract, unfortunately. You just got to hope he decides he wants to retire. Yeah, he definitely needs to see the ball go in the hoop. But the problem isn't just his shooting, though, Nooms. The way he's handling the ball, the way he's moving around the court, he's standing around a lot instead of moving around. It's going to take some time. Yeah, I haven't seen enough from the Sixers to enjoy the season. I'm enjoying it because I don't care. What did they say? Win, lose, no matter. I think that was a Mr. Miyagi saying, right? Win, lose, no matter. Okay? Let's just have fun. We need Paul George. I'm actually interested in Paul George's eventual return because I think his perimeter defense will help this team. If he can accept the role as a 3-and-D specialist and be healthy, that's good. McCain is a confidence guy, absolutely. And he needs it, and he needs his confidence back. It's going to take time. Adam is right. Paul George is hurt no matter what. Yeah. The original Karate Kids were great. There's whole Cobra Kai and spin-offs, and I didn't need a whole Karate Kid universe, but I'm still enjoying it. You think Georgia's defense will really make that big of a difference? Yeah, I mean, our defense has been pretty bad. Paul George is still a solid basketball player when healthy. He's not an elite player anymore, but he still can be a solid basketball player if he can know his role and shut his mouth. Yes, I quoted The Rock there. Early day Rock. Yes, I did. Know your role and shut your mouth. As long as he knows that, as long as he knows what's going to be expected of him, I see no reason why he can't help this team. Paul George. Absolutely. A guy with his experience in this NBA, I think he's won Defensive Player of the Year before. He's just got to get healthy. Danielson could win the championship even if a bad knee. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Way to go on that one. I love it. I love it. Mista is a big Justin Edwards guy. I am not a Justin Edwards guy. I think he's massively overrated. And we signed him to, I think, a 3-year deal, too. Cheap, but a 3-year deal. I don't see anything. He'll have a game here or there where he has a little burst and gets hot and knocks down a couple buckets. But big picture, he's pretty in my opinion. Pretty in my opinion. Clap, 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 yeah. I do like to do that occasionally when it gets a little cold. Rub my hands together, warm up my face. The things you do, right? Let me move from the Eagles box score. Let me pull up the Sixers box score from tonight. Because VJ Edgecombe's knocked down a couple shots now. Let's see. Let's see how VJ's doing now tonight. VJ's, I thought he made more. He only made 1 bucket so far. All right, never mind. 3 points. 8 for Maxey, 6 for Oubre, 2 Drummond, 5 for Watford. Watford's been really good. Oh, Justin Edwards is the one that's getting hot tonight. I thought that was VJ. I saw the 1-1. I thought I saw 7-7. So Edwards is having a little run tonight. Underrated? I think he's overrated. Because I hear a lot of Sixers fans wanting more minutes for him. And I don't think there's anybody on this team you can bench for more minutes for him. Mr. Miyagi, I knew all kinds of medicine. Vancouver, I feel they said, well, yeah, I mean, I think they did. I don't remember. I think I gave up on Cobra Kai 2 or 3 seasons into it. It was entertaining. It was fun, but it was pretty bad. I didn't need all that. I really didn't need all that. But that's just my opinion. What's up, Pump Man? How you doing today? Justin Edwards has been trashed. First real contributions today. I find him overrated. He'll have games like this where he knocks down a couple shots, but most of the time he's going to provide you very minimal. He's the 11th guy on this roster. Maybe 12th when Embiid and Paul George are out there. I don't get the hype on Justin Edwards. He's okay. If this was a real true NBA contender, he wouldn't be seeing the floor. That's the thing you got to remember. There's certain types of players that are only in the NBA on bad teams because they're bad teams, and there's no expectation. Now, the rare occasion one of those guys develops into something, like, say, a TJ McConnell. Yeah, I mean, he's made a couple shots tonight. Good for him. But, yeah, he's nothing special. But hold on. What is the world coming to? The Pump Man and the Beard just agreed on something sports-wise? Wow. Wow. What has the world come to? He's always been streaky, but he's streaky in a bad way more than a good way more frequently. Okay? He's never going to get the regular minutes necessary for a player to turn into a good streaky player. He's just not, in my opinion, at least. At least that's my thoughts. But I've been wrong. I've been told plenty of times I don't know ball. So, whatever. It's like such a cheesy out when you're on social media or on a YouTube channel and someone disagrees with your opinion. They just say, stick to the other sports. You don't know ball. I hate it. Because what you agreed upon is not an opinion. It's pure fact. Oh, okay. So we agreed on a fact. Okay, I got you. Let's agree that VJ Edgecombe was a bad pick. No. Why was VJ Edgecombe a bad pick? He's phenomenal. Okay? The boy's a stud. Turn it into a stud someday. He will always give you solid D. Yeah, he gives okay D. Better than I could give you, but not much better. The Sixers are built this up to a 9-point lead. I'm only half-assed watching this game while we're talking here. Mainly talking Eagles. They just got a rebound. Justin Edwards ripped right out of his hand. Oh, I saw what you said. I'm just not saying it. See, opinion and you are disagreeing again. Exactly. It is what it is. We can't always see eye to eye. All right? We can't always see things in the same light. It is what it is. I don't really get upset about it. We're at 16 likes tonight so far. Haven't gained any new subscribers. 17 votes on the poll. More confident, 29%. A win is a win, 71%. No one has voted less confident or this team is not going anywhere. I'm glad to see that. Danny Briere and Keith Jones will be there now about, I'll let them know. Let them know. Okay? Tell Danny Briere if he wants a real place to have an interview, he can come on here, okay? Solid D. Yeah, the Eagles, the Sixers are playing good D. It translated. They saw the Eagles play good D, and the Sixers are like, oh, I want a piece of that. I mean, they got a good bunch of gritty guys out there. The defense has been bad this year, but in theory, they should be a good defensive team. 17.2 bench points per game for Quentin Grimes. It's only third best. Jeremy Grant's a bench guy now? Wow. What's to say? I feel this week will be hard game versus the Lions, and then we have many games that won't be as hard. Exactly. That's our last big test till the end of the season. It's a very tough game against the Lions. A short week. The Lions are a damn good football team. And we can't expect the Eagles to win that game. Well, hold on. We can expect them to. We can want them to. But it's tough. I don't know. It's very hard for me to focus. Watching the game last night and chatting is one thing. But trying to watch the Sixers game and have a show is very difficult. Very difficult to do. I don't know. I haven't seen them. Tonight's all about the military tonight. Tonight's all about Veterans Day. I went to a Sixers Veterans Day game up in Brooklyn once, back in 2020. It's all about they don't want. I don't think Eagles players would go. Maybe they're still tired and recovering from the long flight home. But they wouldn't even be showing them on the screen because tonight is about the vets. Tonight is about those that served this country and give us the freedom to watch the Sixers, to talk about the Eagles. 2 big offensive rebounds from Justin Edwards on this recent possession here down the court. You love to see it. Walker for 3, a little long. Do I feel we will pay Schwarber and keep him with the Phillies? I think the Phillies are going to do everything. I'm going to take the cop-out answer, Bruce. I'm sorry. The Phillies will do everything in their power to retain him. But I think the Phillies already know, and I don't know what it is, I already feel the Phillies know their limit. They're going to say, I'm just making these numbers up. If they're going to offer 150, they know they'll go up to 170, but they won't go to 175. The Phillies already know their limit with Kyle Schwarber. And if they can sign him within their limit, they will. They're going to try. But they still got a lot of other work to do. Grimes skied up for that board. Yeah, he did. He did. Watching last night, no action game, and chatting was easy. Only the last 4 minutes. Exactly. I read that Schwarber will want 140 for 4 years. That's about my projection. I've said 4 years, 135, 5 years, 160, somewhere in that range. I'm just worried that some team's going to come out and break the bank and give him like 5 years, 180 or something like that, and we're not going to match that. And to disagree with one another. Yeah, exactly. The Eagles line is 2.5. Eagles favored or Eagles behind? It's a home game for the Eagles, so they're 3-point favorites there. The Lions are pretty equal. Is that an Eagles line or a Lions line? So I feel we need him as he is the leader of this team, and if he leaves, I agree. I think he and JT Realmuto need to be kept because we don't have a catching option. But yeah, well, have a great night, Chandler. I'm only going to go for another 15 or 20 more minutes anyway. Want to get a good night's sleep tonight. At least try to. But the Guardians will give him more because he's the hometown hero. No, it's the Reds. The Cincinnati Reds are the hometown team for him. They even gave him a key to the city. Drum making foul shots. I mean, what's the world come to? So the Eagles are favored 2.5. So in theory, they're saying the Lions on a neutral field are a half a point better than the Eagles. So yeah, that's interesting. I just trying to real quick before I go into this. Please, if you haven't, subscribe, share. Please do that. The Phillies are an interesting thing. I'm working on a name. I'm coming up with a Phillies only show. Just like we do the Eagles check down pre-recorded, I'm doing a Phillies and Sixers one soon. I'm working on that. I'm working on some names. The Phillies offseason is going to be intriguing. Reds, Guardians, all Midwest, mid. Yeah. The Reds are going to try to. I think the Red Sox might be in on Kyle Schwarber. The Cubs might be interested in bringing him back. I don't know. We'll see. I got invited to the Eagles game versus the Raiders, but I might not go. Sorry. You should go. Enjoy yourself. But it is later in the year. It's probably going to be cold, and I hate cold. Another tough game. Exactly. Then we go Cowboys, Bears. A little easier of a stretch for us. Well, the Bears are playing good football. I can't see Schwarb's getting more than 33. So 33 for 4 years would be 132. No, I can see him getting more than that. I think 140 is definitely in the realm of him getting it. For sure. Sixers buzzer beater show. Now, I got a couple names. About 3 or 4 names for the Sixers. 3 or 4 names for my Phillies show that I'm going to do. I'm working on the details of that. We're going to continue adding more content to this channel over the next couple weeks and months as we continue to march towards 1,000 subscribers, as we continue to build this channel and continue our takeover of setting the trends for what sports talk should be. Dingers and stingers. I actually don't mind that. I actually kind of like that. I'm adding it. You, Duck, just made the list. Dingers and stingers. You just made the list. If you get rid of Schwarber, do you want to see Pete Alonso? I do not want Pete Alonso. I think Pete Alonso is too repetitive of what we have outside the fact that he's a right-hander. I still want Kyle Tucker. I know it's unrealistic, but that is what I want. Alec Bregman, I'm not sold on for the price he's going to command. Kyle Tucker, I've been all in on Kyle Tucker for a year and a half. 2 trade deadlines ago. I would give Schwarber at least 35 and probably 40. I think 4 years I would go to any of those numbers for sure. 5 years, probably not. Yeah, I think it's more about the leadership than the power even in this situation. I really, truly do. I think that's a big, big deal right there. I know we need a right-handed power hitter. I know Pete Alonso brings that. But Pete Alonso is a first baseman, and I'm not moving Bryce Harper to the outfield. I don't know if Pete Alonso wants to be a DH at this point of his career either. I think Pete Alonso on paper is a really damn fine baseball player. But I don't think that that's the answer right there. Alonso is basically our middle of our order guys. He's the same as what we got, yeah. Just right-handed. I feel Tucker's an all-star. Dude, Tucker's an elite baseball player. And he was available at the trade deadline 2 years ago, and everyone told me I was nuts for wanting him. Because what if you lose him in free agency? Well, the Cubs didn't lose him in free agency. And now he's a free agent now. I also feel Alonso isn't a good leader. We don't really truly know that. Maybe we do, but we don't know. He's just got to get the stench of New York off of him first. Casty is gone, right? I would assume Casty, gone. I would assume one of Bohm, Stott, gone. I hear a lot of rumors that Marsh might be gone, and I don't know about that. But I would say 2 or 3. Casty, Bohm, Stott, 2 of those 3, lock him up as gone. Okay? In my perfect offseason for the Phillies, my perfect offseason would be re-sign JT to a 2-year contract, re-sign Schwarber for a 4-year contract, trade Bohm and bring up Aiden Miller, bring up Justin Crawford immediately, bring up Aiden Miller now to play third base, and sign Kyle Tucker. My outfield would be Tucker, Crawford, and Marsh. My infield would be Miller, Turner, Stott, Harper with JT. That would be my perfect offseason. And I think I would have a lot more confidence. I feel Nick is good but not reliable. Nick's just he's good as gone personality-wise. Hopefully you don't have idiots pulling for Preston Booker again. I know. Did you notice somebody checked in last night? Nooms, did you miss the check-in in the middle of the game last night? Bader is not coming back, I don't think. He posted on his social media basically a thank you. Thanks for the 2 month of memories. Basically confirming he won't be back in Philly next year. Phil, do you want to keep Bader? It doesn't seem like he is. And Painter absolutely has to be brought up. No more waiting and seeing on him. You got to let him learn. Throw him to the fishes. I need another clubhouse leader because when we have our kindergarten's lead. I love that statement from you, Duck. I do. No, we do not need Reese Hoskins back either. I agree. And there are going to be fans that want him. But it's a big N-O no. Okay? It is what it is. Anyway, this has been interesting tonight. I'm not going to end it just yet. But maybe the next 15 minutes we end this. But this has been very interesting. So let's get back on track. How do you feel about the Eagles after a 10-7 win? More confident, less confident? A win is a win. This team's not going anywhere. I don't even think any of those answers do justice to how I feel right now. Bader is older and has 2 good seasons. I don't even think it's been 2 good seasons. Bader's going to want 340. He's not getting it. I feel you are right as we need a leader. Yes, Schwarber's important. You can't pay him the money he wants with that light-ass resume. Absolutely. Not bad. For a random pop-up Tuesday night show, not bad. Sixers are up 47-37. Marshawn here. 2 minutes left in the first half. Phil, I feel more confident as it proves we can beat a top team. I agree. I am more, if I had a vote, which I can have a vote if I want, I'm the host. I feel more confident now than ever before about my Eagles team. More than ever before. I'm confident in the Eagles. We should all be more confident. Pulling out that kind of win says something about the character of this football team. Trendon Watford's a great basketball player. Great addition. Him, Barlow, if he ever heals that laceration, and Walker, all have been great additions. I hate to say it. Y'all know what I think of Daryl Morey. But goddamn, Daryl Morey might have actually had his best offseason in his Sixers resume or Sixers tenure, for sure. What was that, brother? Anyway, definitely had himself a strong offseason. It'll be interesting to see how this week goes for the Eagles. It'll be interesting to see if they lose next week, what the reaction is. Phil, also, it was a road game, and it makes it even better. Absolutely. Lambeau Field, cold weather, it's a huge win last night. Morey will figure a way to screw it up, probably. He'll probably trade somebody for something stupid. Maybe he called Howie for tips, yeah. Problem is the sum of the parts is too difficult to evaluate. For the Eagles, I don't think so. I think the parts are easy to evaluate for the Eagles. Honestly. I don't want to sound homerish talking about the Eagles, but I feel damn good about this team after last night. And it's weird. Oh, the sum of parts for the Sixers. It is too hard to evaluate the Sixers. Absolutely agree. I thought you were talking Eagles there for a second, but Sixers, yes, that statement makes a lot more sense for the Sixers. But it is fun to watch the Sixers. It's weird to say that I feel better about the Eagles after a mere 10-7 win than any other game this year. Something about winning that game just made me feel damn good about this football team. It really did. A dish and dunked by Drummond. More solid. The problem with the Sixers has not been the first half. So I don't remember the exact number. Quarters 1, 2, and 4 for the Sixers. They're top 3 in scoring in the first, second, and fourth quarter. One of the quarters, they're the number 1 scoring team in the NBA. But the third quarter, they're like the 29th or 30th ranked scoring team in third quarters of basketball games. For some reason, they come out of the half sluggish and awful. And it's really weird. First, second quarter, great. Third quarter, awful. Fourth quarter, great. Really weird. Sixers up 12 now. And pushing it. The defense has been a concern. And that was a great defensive performance. Jaelan Phillips, Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham, Cooper Dejean, Quinyon Mitchell. Even Reed Blankenship was making plays last night. The defense played so well last night. The defense played their best game of the year. It was a complete game as well. Giving up a dunk with 1 second left sucks. The offense is still up and down. It's not talent. It's not talent, but the play calling. Look, we didn't get into it today. We'll get into it on Thursday's morning show. There's been some really bad play calling last night, and we're gonna have to talk about it. Got to give Drum his flowers. Yeah, he's playing great basketball. Fountain of youth this year. Fountain of youth. Blankenship took a lot of credit. Now, there was other plays. There were a couple other plays he made last night. Are you just waking up? We've talked about this about 30 minutes of the last 90 minutes, Nooms. You'll have to go back and get all the opinions because we've talked a lot about this tonight. Jair Alexander, we'll recap that situation again here. Yes, he's stepping away. It's crazy. I think it's mental. I really, truly do. Patullo and Sirianni played scared. Scared or too cautious? Worried. I guess the word worried means scared. But worried about the Packers and I don't know. It was a weird one. It really was. Really weird situation how they called plays last night. It really was. And I like how you group Sirianni with Patullo because we know Sirianni's got some impact. It leads you to stay. Do they need a Brian Dable in here to help out? So let's talk about Howie a little here. What do you want to talk about him? How he's missed on Jerry Alexander and Zadarius Smith now? I don't know. Look, we can say, I saw another channel bashing him, saying Howie Roseman should be, I saw a channel basically saying Howie Roseman's job should be at risk because he had an awful offseason. His moves have not been great. We're in the position we are because of Howie. You know what? I think Howie's earned the grace period to not doubt that he's got this. It is serious. Well, I mean, who taught Kevin Patullo everything he knows? Nick Sirianni. So obviously there's going to be input there. But on Howie Roseman, obviously Howie Roseman's made mistakes. Outside of Campbell and Makuba, none of the rookies he drafted are on the field. Most of them are inactive every day. Some of them are playing for other teams. Most of his additions have not worked out. But that Jaelan Phillips might have made up for all the problems. With Jair Alexander, I don't know. We broke it down. We said it could be that he's not confident in his knee. And if you're scared of your knee, that's a mental thing you don't want to be on the field. Maybe he didn't like being told he wasn't playing game one. Vic Fangio never lets cornerbacks play game one. unless you're Quinyon Mitchell. Maybe he didn't like the system. Maybe he didn't like the way Vic Fangio runs his practice, hence Zadarius Smith, and hence why he got kicked out of Miami. Maybe Jair Alexander is mentally struggling with the fact that he's lost a step and can't play at a Pro Bowl level anymore. I mean, he literally said, just like Zadarius Smith said when he came here, I feel the best I've ever felt. And then like that, it's no more. It is something weird going on with Jair Alexander and obviously Zadarius Smith. We won't know for sure till later this year, till after the season. Howie would have a job. Oh, my God. The Jets would give him $1 billion with all those draft picks. How did he pass the physical? That's leading me to believe that it's a mental thing that he's struggling with. Or he just doesn't want to be here. How do you feel? I can't say he's doing a good job. I don't want to say Kevin Patullo is doing a bad job. I want to say his job evaluation is incomplete at this moment. He needs to be better. No doubt about it. He hasn't been great. No doubt about it. He's a step down from Kellen Moore. No doubt about it. But this is his first time in the job. So I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for at least this season. We might have to make another offense coordinator change in the offseason. But right now, it's a benefit of the doubt. Smith was playing well also before he walked away from the team. Zadarius Smith was playing okay. He was just playing the best out of a bad bunch. You think Howie could fix the Jets? I think Howie could fix any team in the NFL, as long as you give him time. The thing that makes Howie Roseman so good is that Jeffrey Lurie gives him time. Lets him make mistakes and lets him have time to fix those mistakes. I don't know if he is, but I feel we need to figure it out. He's not going anywhere. He's not losing his job this year. So we got to come up with ways that he needs to be better. Tool's doing a bad job. He's been tapped and paid to. Yeah, I don't know if bad. Not good. It's weird. The offense absolutely has to be better. Absolutely. How do you give the keys to a Ferrari when he hasn't passed his written driver's test yet? I think it's fair. I think there's mental. And I've talked about it before. I talked about it tonight. That I think these athletes, all athletes across all major sports, should be required to see a psychiatrist regularly. You got independent concussion protocol people. You got independent psychiatrists on every team. And every player on every team needs to see a psychiatrist every week, every other week, every month, whatever. Because these issues pop up. These issues crop up. And then people walk away from the sport. Or Marshawn Leland situations happen. We got to care more about our athletes' mental stability. We are winning despite Patullo. We are. Makes sense. I could say better. Maybe Nick can find out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we need a consultant, like Adam says here. Maybe. I don't know if we do, but maybe. It's like Buddy Ryan basically ignoring the offense, and it still did well. I don't know if the offense did well under Buddy Ryan. It did okay. The offense under Buddy Ryan never won a championship. Hell, it never won a playoff game. But that's that. All right, guys. I think Dable is available. And I might be on board with that. He might be one of those guys that's a great play caller and a terrible head coach. I don't know where the disconnect is. And I don't think we'll ever know until after this season. After the season, people get traded away. New players and new coaches come in. Maybe we learn more. But right now, we don't know. And we're not going to know. There's just going to be a lot of media speculation. And I don't like media speculation anyway. Remember Rob and Rex Ryan? Oh, I know them. Oh, I know them. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this baby up. It's almost 9:20 in the evening. I've given you guys an hour and 35 minutes of my time. I'll be back on Thursday morning at the regular 8 a.m. time, guys. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you share. Adam, 100 new subscribers. We're at 836. If at this point tomorrow night we're at 936, it's $100 worth of free food for you. $100 worth of free food at the pizza shop. Everybody have a great night. We're gonna wrap this baby up. I'll be back tomorrow night or in the morning on Thursday. Get back to a regular schedule here soon. I'm gonna go chill out for a little bit. Y'all have a great night, guys. It's been a blast. We'll talk on Thursday. Go Birds. Bubbles up.